Hi, welcome to the Listen Up Girl podcast, your daily LGBTQ plus news podcast. I'm Zach Randall-Friedman. Today is Thursday, June 25th, 2026. We are day 25 of Pride Month. We are 3 days out from the New York City Pride March. San Francisco kicks off its full Pride weekend tonight. And the news is not slowing down for anyone. Today, Congress tells the FCC to keep its hands off our TV screens. A Republican governor says no to her own party for the third time. Rachel Maddow celebrates a string of legal wins against the Orange Convicted Felons Administration. A reality TV star comes out just in time for Pride, and we're counting down to what would be the biggest Pride weekend in years. So let's start with the FCC wants to label U.S. Congress says no. The battle over LGBTQ plus content on television just escalated. And this time we've got some backup. Back in April, FCC Brendan Carr, a Trump appointee, floated the idea of creating a new TV rating system that would slap warning labels on any content featuring transgender or non-binary characters. Yes, they were actually thinking of doing this. It's hard to believe that we are in 2026, but yes. The proposed labels would sit alongside warnings for violence, sexual content, and drug use. The message from the administration was clear. Our existence belongs in the same category as indecent material. Well, on June 22nd, 68 House Democrats pushed back hard, led by Congressional Equality Caucus Chair Representative Mark Takano of California and Representative Jan Schawski of Illinois. Lawmakers sent a letter to the FCC Chair Carr, making their position crystal clear. Out reps including Sarah McBride, Robert Garcia, Richie Torres, Becca Blunt, and Mark Pocan were among the people who signed. Their argument, the FCC doesn't have the legal authority to prescribe these ratings. Congress gave the FCC limited power under the 1996 Telecommunications Act, and it doesn't cover this. The letter stated clearly that any attempt to censor content because it includes transgender characters would raise serious legal and constitutional concerns. GLAAD called the FCC's move a brazen attempt to erase us from television, and PEN America said FCC was trying to take the tactics of censorships from our libraries into our living rooms. And here's the thing, a 2025 survey found that 78% of non-LGBTQ Americans believe anyone deserves to feel represented in media. The FCC is picking a fight that most of the country doesn't want. The fight isn't over, but 68 people in Congress said that loud and clear. We don't need a warning label. We're not a threat. We're your neighbors, we're your family, your coworkers, and we deserve to be seen. So, finally, a little bit of a good news. Next, Rachel Maddow is feeling herself, and for a good reason. Lesbian political host Rachel Maddow had herself a very good Monday night on MS Now. The occasion, a string of legal losses for the Orange Convicted Felons Administration that had Maddow genuinely lit up. The biggest development, a federal judge, a Republican-appointed one no less, threw out 6 grand jury subpoenas that the Orange Convicted Felons Justice Department had issued against Democratic officials in Minnesota. So we're talking about Governor Tim Walz, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, and Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, among others. The DOJ had been targeting these officials, and the judge said that the subpoenas were issued to unlawfully harass Democratic officials with zero investigation jurisdiction to back them up. Maddow's take, she said that we've all been needing to hear. Why do you choose to fight? When you do choose to fight, sometimes you do to win. And she's right. And in a moment when resistance can feel exhausting, it matters to name the wins. Courts are still pushing back. Judges, even the ones appointed by Republicans, are still saying no. And it's worth pausing today in the middle of Pride Month to let that land. Fight because sometimes you win. Next, New Hampshire's Republican governor says no again. So let's talk about the New Hampshire's Republican governor who has now vetoed a sweeping anti-trans bill 3 times in the past year. The latest, the governor blocked SB 552, a bill that would have banned transgender people from using restrooms, locker rooms, sports teams, and even jails that align with their gender identities. The bill would have gutted the state's own 2018 anti-discrimination law, which explicitly includes gender identity as a protected characteristic. Republican lawmakers pushed it through anyway, and for the 3rd time, the governor said nope. She's not an ally in a way our community would define one. She's a conservative governor navigating real political pressure from her own party. But 3 vetoes is not an accident. It's a pattern in creating a very real firewall for trans people living in New Hampshire. Republican legislators say that they'll keep trying, but they don't have the 2/3 majority needed to override her. Sometimes protection comes from the most unexpected places. And right now in New Hampshire, a Republican governor is holding the line. So thank you, Republican governor in New Hampshire. Next, San Francisco Pride Weekend begins tonight, and the Trans March leads the way. If you are in San Francisco today, tonight is the night. The Trans March kicks off in Dolores Park, an annual community-led gathering that centers trans, gender nonconforming, and non-binary voices, and marks the beginning of one of the most legendary Pride weekends in the world. The 56th annual San Francisco Pride celebration and parade runs Saturday and Sunday across Civic Center with 6 stages, more than 200 parade contingents and performances spanning the full spectrum of LGBTQ plus culture. The theme this year is resistance and action, and organizers say they are centering and uplifting their trans and gender nonconforming community member front and center in the parade. San Francisco Pride Executive Director Suzanne Ford said the event is stronger than ever after facing some financial challenges last year, and she had a message for allies. Come out in the street and show your support for trans people. The parade down Market Street on Sunday starts at 10 a.m. The festival at the Civic Center is completely free and open to all, no ticket required. This is Pride at its most powerful, rooted in protest, alive with joy, and refusing to be silenced. If you're not there in person, watch coverage all weekend long. Next, Vanderpump Rules star Dana comes out as lesbian for Pride. It is more joyful Pride news. Vanderpump Rules' Dana Cathon has come out as a lesbian, and she did it exactly with the energy we needed. On June 7th, Dana Cathon posted on Instagram with a photo of herself and her friends on a porch wearing a camisole that says gay, and wrote, "Shout out to my fellow late in life lesbians. Happy Pride." Now Dana officially came out as bisexual in 2019 during her time on Vanderpump Rules, and she and the fellow cast member, Ariana Maddox, famously talked openly on screen about bi sisters. The Pride month, she stepped into a new label for herself, and she did it with humor, warmth, and zero drama. Late in life lesbians, she sees you, and so do we. There is no expiration on figuring out who you are. Coming out is not a one-time event. It's living, evolving conversation. And Dana just reminded us that it can happen at any time with joy and a really cute tank top. Then we go to New York City Pride. It's 3 days away. So let's bring it home with the countdown, because we are 3 days away from the New York City Pride March, and the energy is building. The march steps off Sunday, June 28th at noon, marching through Midtown Manhattan. This year's theme is For All of Us, a nod to the words attributed to Marsha P. Johnson. There is no pride for us without the liberation of us all. This is the 57th March, and it's happening on the exact anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising, the 57th anniversary, the night it all began. Grand marshals include Dominique Jackson, Peppermint, Bowen Yang, alongside Gays Against Gun Disability Rights advocate Bernie Wagenblast. I love, love, love Bernie. She is the voice of the New York City subway. And then the march is expected to draw over 2 million spectators and marchers. The Free Pride Street Fair begins at 11 a.m. ahead of the march. And surrounding the march this weekend are events all over the city, from the community mixers and gallery openings to rooftop parties and panel discussion. If you're heading to New York City this weekend, you are stepping into something historic. And if you can't be there in person, your community is showing up, and showing up is for all of us. So that's Listen Up Girl today for Thursday, June 25th, 2026, day 25 of Pride. We are 5 days away to the end of the month, but trust me, we are not done. These next few days are going to be full of celebration, full of history, and full of a reminder that community fights and sometimes we win. If today's episode meant something to you, I need you to do 3 things. Follow and subscribe wherever you get this podcast. Leave us a rating and review. Those generally help more people find us. And then share this podcast with someone in your life who needs to hear that we are still here, still loud, and still showing up. Find me on Instagram at TheRealZachRE. I'm on YouTube, and I'm Zach, so stay informed, stay proud, and I'll see you tomorrow with more news. Thanks for listening.